Hi students, I myself Divakar Pandey from KUNTI NAGAR Modern English School NAWADA and welcome to you in your e-learning class. Today I am going to provide you my fourth video lecture of lesson 6 that has been taken from class 6 and the topic is Kingdoms, Kings and an Early Republic. In my previous video, I have already discussed you about the rulers of Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. That how the rulers of Mahajanpadas, it means new rulers of Mahajanpadas, began to start their maintaining for armies. As we have studied that the rulers of Mahajanpadas started to maintain armies and fortify their ruling areas. So due to this purpose, they needed more resources and officials to collect these. It was not easy to depend on only occasionally gift brought by people. So they started to collect regular taxes. It means there were 5 types of taxes at that time. First, taxes were taken on crops. It was most important tax. Why do you know? Because at that time most of the people were farmers. This tax was fixed at 1/6 of total production of crops. That was called bhaga or share. And second taxes were taken from craft persons in the form of their labor. It meant a weaver or a smith have had to work for a day every month for the king. And third type of taxes were taken from herders in the form of animal or animal products. When we talk about fourth taxes were taken from herders on goods. It means traders on goods that were brought or sold by them. And fifth taxes were taken from hunter and gatherers in the form of forest products. Now we come to change in agriculture. What change took place in agriculture? Now we have to study in this chapter. When we talk about agriculture, we find in agriculture the first changing was the growing of iron plowshares. Yes, now farmers began to use iron plowshares through which heavy clay soil could be turned over better than with wood plowshares, and now more grain could be produced. Second changing in agriculture was now people learn to transplant paddy crops, and instead of scattering seeds on the grounds, now they begin to transplant their paddy. That lead to increased crop production. Who were involved in agricultural work? When we ask the question, which type of people were involved in agricultural work? Yes, slave men and women, landless, agricultural, about that were called kamkaras. So these were involved in agricultural work at that time. And now, after the study of changing in agriculture, we come to the next point. A closer look to Magad and Vazji. Now it is very important to know. Yes. So now we come to a closer look of Magad and Vazji. So first of all, we study about Magad. Magad became the most important Mahajanpada in about 200 years. How Magad became most important? So most important Janpada? Yes. Many rivers such as the Ganga, the Son used to flow through this region. that were very important for transportation, water supplies, and for the fertility of land. So these rivers were very helpful for transportation, water supplies, and for the fertility of the land of that area. When we study about Magad, we find most part of its area were forested. So animals like elephants could be captured for army, and wood from that forest area could be used for building houses, carts, and chariots. Chariots, it means rath. Chariots are very helpful for rulers and at that time. So these wood were easily available from the forest area near Magad Empire that were used for building houses, carts, and chariots. Besides these, there were iron ore mines in this region that could be helpful to make a strong tools and weapons. These were very essential for rulers. Now we study about rulers. Yes, when we study about the Magad Mahajanpada, we find Magad had two very powerful rulers. First Bimbisar and second Ajatasattu, who used all possibilities to conquer other Janpadas. Yes, and in addition to this, we study about Nanda. It means Mahapadmanand. Mahapadmanand, who became a very famous ruler in Magad Empire. He was another important ruler who extended his control up to the northwest part of the subcontinent. Rajgriha, at present day near your district Nawada, it is located. So Rajgriha, it is present day called Rajgir. So Rajgriha, that was located in Bihar, it was the capital. It means it is now they also located in Bihar. It was the capital of Magad. So where was the capital of Magad? Rajgriha. Rajgriha was the capital of Magad for several years. Later the capital was shifted to Patliputra, which is at present called Patna, and it is known as the name of Patna. More than 2300 years ago, a ruler whose name was Alexander, he lived in Macedonia in Europe. He wanted to become a world conqueror. So he started to conquer, but of course he didn't conquer the world. Why? Because but did conquer parts of Egypt and West Asia and came to the Indian subcontinent. But when he came to the Indian subcontinent, reaching up to the banks of the Vyas, when he wanted to march further to eastwards, his soldiers refused before Indian armies. They were scared. Yes, they were scared, as they had heard about the rulers of India had vast armies or foot soldiers, chariots and elephants. So they were not able to attack on our country. Now we come to a closer look of Vajji. Yes, what was Vajji? While we have studied about Magad, Magad became a powerful kingdom. Vajji, with its capital at Vaishali, which is located nowadays in Bihar, was under a different form of government, and it was known as Gana or Sangh. It means Vajji was a Gana or Sangh. In a Gana, what is a Gana? Gana is a word that is used for group that has many members. And what do you mean by Sangha? Yes, Sangha means organizations or association. So now we come to the chapter. In a Gana or a Sangha, there were not one, But many rulers sometimes even when thousands of men ruled together. It means in a Gana or Sangha, many rulers used to rule together, and each one was known as a Raja. Yes, these Rajas performed ritual together, and they used to do ritual works together, and they also met in assemblies. It means there was an assembly for the meeting of the Rajas. In that assemblies, they decided what had to be done and how it to be done through discussion and debate. For examples, if they were attacked by an enemy, they met to discuss what should be done to meet and threat. However, do you know, women, dasas and kamkaras could not participate in these assemblies. Both, when we study both the religion, Buddha and Mahavira, about whom you will study in chapter 7, they belonged to these Ganas or Sanghas. Some of the most vivid descriptions of their life in the Sanghas can also be found in Buddhist books. So this is an account of the Vajis from the Digha Nikaya. Digha Nikaya is a famous Buddhist book in which we can study about Vajji Sangha. It contains some of the speeches of Lord Buddha, and these Digha Nikaya were written down about 2300 years ago. You should always keep in your mind. Now we study about Ajatasattu and Vajjis. Yes, Ajatasattu wanted to attack the Vajjis. Who wanted to attack the Vajjis? Ajatasattu. He sent his minister named, his minister name was Vasakara. So Ajatasattu wanted to attack the Vajjis, so he sent his minister Vasakara to Lord Buddha to get his advice on this matter. But the Buddha asked whether the Vajjis met frequently in full assemblies. When he heard that they did, he replied that Vajjis would continue to prosper as long as